Is Leah Thompson trying to fuck that duck? What?
Recorded live from Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona. You're listening to the Josh and Friends Podcast.
Thank you for tuning in to the Josh and Friends Podcast. I am your host. My name is Josh. And this week, the show welcomes back Brian and Lee to the program. And we'll be discussing some recent news stories going on around the world, including some strange new beauty tips of some Instagram creators involving masks and tattoos, a new tool that's being used to detect deceptive profile descriptions on dating apps, and a list of classic movies from back in the day that just don't seem to hold up with the younger generation. So join us for these conversations and more with my two guests live in the studio, Mr. Brian Crooks and Lee Olson. Brian, Lee, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
From Studio 12A in sunny Phoenix, Arizona.
You got it, man. You got it. This ain't your first rodeo.
I mean, it is a redo.
So let's start it off. What are you guys drinking? What are you guys drinking over here?
My typical Tito's and diet, petrochemical.
Oh, okay.
Pendleton and Mexican Coke.
Whoa!
Yeah.
You're going to have to
Fancy
explain that for the
specific.
people because they're going to think you're racist.
True. It's made with cane sugar and not corn syrup, which now that I'm old, I found out I'm allergic to corn.
Oh, okay. All right. What
Isn't that
happens if you drink corn, something with corn in it? Do you go into convulsions? Do you have to go to the emergency room? What happens?
No, in reality, my liver just doesn't like it. Apparently, I was damaging my liver with too high of iron levels, and that was due to the allergens and the inflammation caused by them.
Wow. Okay.
Man, getting old is
As far as
really
I understand,
fucking weird.
as far as I understand it.
Remember we were talking about that? We were just talking about that. How that, like, food and drinks and anything that we ever put into our body back in our early 20s, we're just like, that wasn't even we never even had conversations about that, right? We're like, we wouldn't say like, what kind of food are you serving? That was not a thing, right?
Well, you didn't need to. But here's the question. So are we there now because we ate that garbage and just beat our bodies up to where our bodies are finally like, I can't take it. We were always allergic to corn, but we were young and able to defend against it. Or did we get the new allergies?
It's probably a combination, don't you think?
I really don't know. I just know that getting old, you fucking got to get your glasses out and look at ingredients. And it's fucking stupid.
Or has corn changed with all the genetic modifications?
It could be that too.
Yeah.
The food changed. We changed. I don't know. Yeah. Getting old is weird.
Yeah. So is anything other than your corn deficiencies, anything else happened to you guys since the last time you guys have been here? Which has been a year, but by the way, since both of you were here together.
Yeah, I have purged that entire trip from my memory. I don't remember being here a year ago. I remember being here 2 years ago, but I do not remember a year ago.
All right. Okay.
There's a weird gap.
Brian, how about you, buddy?
How's
work going? How's work going?
Declining.
Oh, okay. All right. Well,
I don't know if people know, but we are in a recession, apparently.
Yeah,
according to our work outlook.
because you guys can always kind of like, you can gauge that from the work that you guys get, right? In doing construction.
Yep.
you can definitely feel it in construction, but also if you're just paying attention to the world, you know it's coming. But I think people just hear the news or whatever, and they're like, "Ooh, it's so like." In fact, I was at my mom's house, and her husband, they're a certain political leaning, and her husband said to me, "I mean, we're in the best economy ever in America," and I went, "That's weird because we just laid people off for the first time in a decade, so you're fucking wrong." And he looked at me like, "That can't be true." It's like, well, you're watching the propaganda horse shit, and we're living in the real world where we've been in a recession, or we've at least been declining for a year, year and a half,
2 or 3.
Yeah, I mean, certainly declining off the peak.
2021, 22.
Well,
Yeah,
since you guys
probably in the peak.
since you brought up politics, I did want to talk a little bit about how the RNC and the DNC, they're actually starting to get it as far as bringing actual entertainment into the fold. Like, so you had Hulk Hogan who was at the RNC, right? And they had Kid Rock performing. And then they had, at the DNC, they had Lil Jon, who was doing like kind of like a dance party, like in the middle of the floor. And which, by the way, that part was actually kind of smart because the whole thing of when they're introducing each state and like announcing their delegates and shit, it's the most fucking boring shit ever. And they actually spiced it up with a song that was like geared to
like
a certain state.
Tied in.
Yes.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah. So it was kind of interactive in that you had to try to guess what they were going to play for each state. And do you know what they played for Washington State?
The bluest skies are in Seattle.
You would think that it would be like, okay, so Seattle,
Jimi
Washington.
Hendrix or Nirvana or what did they play during any Monday Night Football game whenever the Seahawks scored? That's what I would expect. Soundgarden, Nirvana, Jimi Hendrix.
Except what the DNC was trying to do, they're going after the younger vote. So they, it's still an old song. It's like over 10 years.
Macklemore, probably.
Yep, Macklemore. Can't hold us by Macklemore and Randos. Yeah. So that was kind of whatever. But like the whole point of my bringing this up is, they're trying to spice. They never do this back in the day. Back in the day, they had Clint Eastwood talking to a chair or something.
Right.
Like, remember that? Like, like, okay, this is not fun, but like, you have like Hulk Hogan ripping off his shirt or, them having a dance party. You're like, we're having a dance party at a fucking convention?
Well, I have a couple thoughts on this. Like, I mean, we won't go too far into politics, but we really are living in idiocracy, right? Like we're there. Like this is Hector Camacho, Mountain Dew, whatever the fuck, right? Fucking pro wrestlers and porn stars like Lauren Boebert has a bikini picture out, smoking hot. By the way, I think I'm changing my vote. I don't know if she's still in it or if I can vote for her.
You can't vote for her.
I would. I'm just saying. It works. By the way, it works. Right, this shit works.
Like Wayne's World. Swing.
She's a babe. Swing.
Wow, that's a deep reference showing how old we are. Okay. But sure, yeah. But I mean, also the shit changed because social media. People have to see the shit and they have to catch it in little tiny bits.
Well, also they pull all these moments and then they post them on their social media.
Yeah, it used to be government was boring and in the background because that's where it belonged.
I mean, the playlist for the thing is already trending. Like I was like, oh, okay, now you could like download their playlist. Like, I don't care.
Politics have become good ratings. That's why the channels are making a ton of money doing politics now instead of fucking actual entertainment.
Yeah.
But whatever. Yeah.
But
I'm not paying it. By the way, I'm not paying attention. I used to pay attention to politics. I'm actually not this year.
I'm fucking amazing.
It's actually genuinely better. Like he doesn't pay attention.
I don't pay attention to any of it.
It's way better. People are talking to me about it. Like I didn't watch the DNC. I don't fucking me either. Yeah, I don't care.
Oh, so you guys never you guys didn't see any of the highlights of that? I mean, it was like
I didn't watch it. And I like politics. I like policy. Like I like that. I didn't seek any of it out. I didn't see any of it. I don't know who talked. I don't know anything. I think I saw something about some guy's kid crying or something while he was. Who's Kamala Harris's vice president? Is that guy's son?
Yeah,
was like crying or bawling or whatever. That's all I saw.
He's mentally challenged. Yeah,
whatever. Whatever. That's the only thing I barely saw on my Google feed because I still try to read news. I try to be up on news, but politics, I'm fucking done. Yeah, it's beyond me. I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
All right. Well,
unless I run, which I can't because Josh has too much dirt on me.
On video. What do you think of like your enemy? I'd like to. I guess I could be bought out, right? Everybody
has a price. I mean. You're certainly on my team, but Team Lee could be flexible with the right amount of money.
Okay. Well, I did have some interesting, weird kind of stories to share with you guys. And I thought I'd run them by you guys just to see what you guys thought of these. So first thing I want to talk about was women's beauty tips. Ryan, you're up on women's beauty tips, right?
Beauty tips.
Yeah. So, you know those masks that women put on, like to, I don't know if it makes them look younger or, the mud masks things, you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys both have fucking women. Like, you guys have pretty much
shockingly, yes.
You're looking at me like I'm from a different planet over here. Like,
we are aware that women wear makeup. Yes.
No, the like mud masks. Those. You've never.
I don't think Jules ever worn one.
Okay.
If she does, she does it in private.
You're telling me right now you've never.
I've seen. I know what you're talking about, but yes, okay. I'm aware of the mask.
Okay.
Yes. Mainly
this is
from
difficult.
like Mrs. Doubtfire.
This is exhausting. Is this what Jewel has to deal with? Like,
Yeah,
every
I
day?
know. Isn't this? I don't know why she's still. Yeah.
Jesus. Hello. All right. So,
I'm not an easy man.
God. So they're fairly common around the world where
Sure.
women put on these
Let's-
like masks. Okay.
Yes,
That's all I'm
and.
trying to.
Yes,
just trying
and.
to build this
Yeah.
up to
Yes,
to tell the
and.
story. Holy moly.
Sorry, buddy.
Next question.
Sorry, buddy.
So
what about the
there's
masks?
a new trend. There's a new trend going on, and this Brazilian model, of course, she's on Instagram. She is using a new method, a new kind of mask that she likes to use, and this contains her own shit as a mask. So she puts on her own shit onto her face. She puts a clothespin. She puts on a clothespin so she doesn't have to
of
smell
course.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And she feels that this is making her young. Of course, she's in like her 20s. She's like, this makes me look so much younger. So, Lee, what do you think about that? What are your thoughts on the new poop mask
I
trend?
mean, we look. I said it before. We're living in idiocracy. This is what people are doing now. They're rubbing shit on their own faces and not doing it in private as some weird fucking kink thing. They're like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to fucking record it and put it out for the world and tell people this is fucking awesome.
Lee, she has over 650,000 Instagram followers. Who's the dumb one here, right?
No,
Who's the-
that's the thing. I used to think these people are nuts. No, they're not. They're fucking brilliant.
yeah.
What could be more free than that? Just shit on your own face and make $1 million.
I guess she made the news last year because she married her older cousin. And
I mean, she does sound a little
loopy.
Yeah, I mean,
little
that
loopy?
sounds like she's operating on the fringe of what might make you famous.
Well, those two things are in the same ballpark.
They're in the
You know,
same. They're in the same sport.
Putting shit on your face
Yeah.
and marrying your cousin.
They're in the same.
That's
Yeah,
in the same ballpark.
yeah. That's
So
the
there was a doctor that was asked about this, and he has warned about the dangers of applying shit to your face.
pink
and
eye.
says, don't do it.
No shit.
He's like, it can introduce pathogens into your body through small cuts, abrasions, and mucous membranes, leading to severe skin infections and illness. So
Good.
he urges
Fucking
people
good.
not to do that. So
I hope this girl also is one of the people that doesn't take medications. So when she gets sick, she just
you're rooting for her eventual.
I want dumb people to die.
Okay.
At this point, they need to get out of the way.
Okay. Well, here's another one, Lee. Let me know what you think about this one. You like these, Brian?
These are great.
Okay, so now there's, of course, it's another woman. We keep talking about this. There's a lot of women now that have these messed up stories. I don't know why it's more women. It used to be guys just doing dumb shit like, "Hey, I'm gonna try to make us jump over here." I guess guys still.
I think there's
do
just
that.
too many. I think
I was just going to say, women, it's much easier to get followers.
that's it. I was going to
That's
say
true.
basically the same thing. Like,
So,
dudes,
that's true.
we all do that shit. So like, it's fun to watch, but also we can just do it.
Yeah.
But a girl, especially an attractive girl, doing literally anything is going to get an audience.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's an Australian model. Well, I don't know if she's a model.
So you start that sentence. So an Australian model, ...
An Australian woman. Sorry, I read that wrong. Her name is Amber Luke. Amber Luke. She went temporarily blind from getting her eyeballs tattooed. So she's known as Australia's most tattooed woman. And she refers to herself as the Blue Eyes White Dragon on Instagram. And she's 22 years old.
Oh, fuck.
She's 22 years old, and she got her eyes tattooed, her eyeballs tattooed, which left her blind for weeks. Weeks. She said the first time that she had this process done, it felt like 10 shards of glass had been rubbed into her eye for 3 weeks.
I like how you said that. The first time she had it done, it felt like shards of glass. And then she did it again.
She had to get it redone because it wasn't all the way done.
No. She
Yes.
did not have to get it redone.
Well,
Let's be clear.
well, she's sickly.
She is.
She's
Look, that's the thing too, is like mental illness. It's real, and like we should be empathetic for that. But let's know when we see it. If you're fucking tattooing your own eyeball or having somebody do it for you, like that's a sign. That's an indicator.
Well, yeah. I think she said it best. She goes, "I may have gone blind for 3 weeks, but it turned out to be quite an okay experience." What the fuck? So I got to show you guys a picture of this chick. I got to show you guys a picture. This is her. What do you guys think of that?
I mean, it looks like a dead fisheye. What's going on there?
Crazy?
So what did she tattoo? She tattooed the white of her eye?
Yeah.
Why?
Yeah. Because she's the
because she's ill. So never mind. Okay. But I mean, like, what's the payoff there?
I don't know. I mean, she has Instagram followers. I don't know how many she has. I don't know if Amber Luke has as many followers as the first girl, the poop face
shit face girl. Sure.
Right. But this one, she has, what's her name again? She's the
white face devil or whatever.
Blue Eyes White Dragon. The Blue Eyes White Dragon on Instagram. Yeah. So,
I mean, was this a surprise that she went blind for a period of time? I mean,
I don't know.
It's kind of like, duh.
I mean,
here's my actual question. So, the way we view this chick getting her dumb eyeballs tattooed and going blind, is this how, like, are we just old curmudgeons the way that, like, our parents got scolded for having long hair during the Beatles era? Like, is it the same? Is this the same curmudgeon shit where, like, in 30 years, people would be like, you were pissed that she got her eyeballs tattooed?
Yeah, what a weirdo. Why? Like,
boomer.
Yeah.
Like maybe we're the weird ones. Maybe this is normal. And
you're even talking about, remember when we used to go to that bar in Kent and there was a biker chick and she had a tattoo on her face and we were like, holy shit, don't follow that
that's
chick.
crazy. And now fucking tattoos on your face equal fucking famous. Money. Everybody has a tattoo on their face.
Oh, right? Yeah.
That's the thing, is like, maybe we're the ones that don't get it.
Yeah.
Maybe we're old and we're like I said, like the generation that had their hair long for the Beatles. It's like, oh, you fucking hippie. Like, how culture's off its fucking rocker. Like, you're going downhill.
Right.
Well, long hair wasn't that big of a deal to us. It was to their parents.
Yeah.
But now we're like, you're fucking tattooing your eyeball?
Yeah.
What the fuck is wrong with you? And in 30 years, they're going to be like, that's it? I don't know. We pluck our own eyeballs out now.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, something else that you can't relate to, I'm sure of, because you guys, how long have you been dating Jewel Lee?
Yeah, I guess that's a correct thing. Almost 17 years.
17 years.
We've been engaged for 12.
Okay.
So dating is a little, it's getting pretty serious.
Okay.
We've been engaged for 12 years. It's getting kind of serious now.
Brian, how long have you been dating your,
we've been married 23 years.
Wow. Okay.
We dated for 6 before that. So
Jesus, what did you start dating? Like 12 years old?
Just about.
Can you tell I'm great at math?
Yeah.
But no. So you guys have been both in long relationships. So I'm guessing that you have not been on a dating app. You may have seen dating apps. So obviously you've heard of dating apps.
Pretty much I heard, like, from back in the days when you would talk about like Plenty of Fish or like Bumble or whatever the fuck.
Yeah.
That's what I know of.
Yeah. Now there's like the Hinge, the Tinder, Bumble, eHarmony still around.
I know eHarmony because Jules' mom met her husband on eHarmony.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's like how a lot of people meet.
I think it's
remember, like, it used to be a weird thing. You're like, what? Like, who's on a
meet
dating?
somebody? You're not going to go meet him in person. What the fuck?
What? But anyway, I guess so. Women have been complaining because men have been lying about their height on these things, right? So Brian loves it. No, so now
is there anybody telling the truth about it?
Right, I was going to say.
Well, but like a job search, you can place your specs in,
sure,
right, and it'll narrow down your searches. So obviously, men are like, well, I don't want to
get deleted.
Yeah,
you're right. I don't want
to be overlooked. I don't,
So this is like when you put your house on the market, you put it at $349,999 instead of 350 because people set the fucking parameter at 350. I want something below that. Yeah. So men are starting to lie about their height, and just so they can get into a certain bracket where, because women are like, well, I don't want a guy under 6 feet tall.
Oh, he's 5'9". Sorry. Oh, 5'9". That's a little short.
So what women are doing, they're using AI to combat this. So what they do is they take 4 pictures and they upload it to AI. And what AI
take
does,
the geometry of the fucking sun and the fucking shadow.
It uses the proportions and the surroundings to estimate the height of an individual. And then it gives you the calculated measurement so you can see if they are lying or not, right?
I feel like you don't need a computer for that.
I was going to say, I
think you can just take a standard 10 or 20% off the top. And
also,
you're accurate.
Also, I'm curious if the girls who are going to all this trouble to weed out the liars wear makeup.
Oh, remember that old skit in I'm Gonna Get You, Sucka?
Well, I have a confession to make too.
Really?
My eyes aren't really green.
Not the tits. Please tell me that.
This voluptuous ass of mine.
Guys, always get a kick out of this one. Wait. Ow!
So,
fake hair, fake nails, fake makeup, heels, everything. Everything is like fake. And like guys, I've seen guys on TikTok and stuff like that, how they're selling shoes now that like give you like 5 or 6 inches. Like,
wow,
and
that's a lot.
Well, and it doesn't show either. It's fucking crazy, right?
Also,
so they're like, hey, it's a fair game. And I'm like, okay, well, this is like, Lee, this is like how women, when I used to be on these sites, I used to see these girls and you could clearly tell they have filters on. And I'm like, why would you want to start out with a lie? So then you meet up in person and you're like,
and you're guaranteed to be,
I don't know who you are.
Pissed off. Right.
This is not the same person that I saw on the thing.
And also the fucking truth about it is, no, you can be whoever you are and there's somebody for you. Like I learned that long ago when Ryan fucking won the costume contest, taking his shirt off. Girls were going nuts for him because he has a fucking full body sweater of body hair.
Yeah.
Chicks were into it.
Yeah.
People are into you, just whatever you are.
Right.
Out there, people are into you. Fucking, you don't need to lie. You don't need to fucking make shit up. There's somebody out there, just be you and somebody will find you.
Yeah. Yeah, there's somebody for everybody, but this is the problem with social media because like girls all think they want the perfect guy, right? So like all these girls, even whether, they're not a 10, maybe they're like a 5, they still all the girls go for the same guy and like 95% of the guys don't ever even get looked at or swiped on. So all the guys are just like sitting there like this and like it's a mess. Like
this feels a lot
things.
like being your friend and standing next to you in every bar I ever went to.
How dare you?
I disappeared. Dude, I could have been a
gay guys away from us last year.
True. I could have been the world's best magician. I disappeared.
What are you just?
Yeah, just stand next to Josh. He fucking disappeared. Nobody saw me because I could have robbed the fucking money from the till at the bar. Anyway.
How dare you guys? How dare you? Anyway, so I just thought that was kind of interesting that people are starting to use AI for different things. Basically, it's going to take over the world, right?
Hurry up, robots. Hurry up.
Yeah, right.
I give up on us. It's over. Come on, hurry up, robots. We'll welcome you as our overlords. Let's just get it over with. Kind
of like when we always talk about how when Ryan complains and we're like, we don't need you, Ryan. Like
most jobs don't need to be done by humans anymore.
Yes. Yep. You're right.
And we're not far from learning that the hard way.
Yeah.
Construction, oddly, hard to do. Too complex, too physical, too whatever. Have to problem solve, hard for robots to do. So construction, plumbing, electrician, that shit's going to be around for a while. But if you work in an office, I work in an office. Sort of.
Driving a truck,
that's going away. Yeah. If you do anything that a robot is doing right now for Tesla.
Writing code.
Yeah, writing code is
boxes.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, let's get into something a little bit more fun and light. Instead of, robots taking over the world, which I don't know, it could be good and bad, right? I mean, okay. All right. So there was an article that came out recently and it was talking about the movies from our childhood that we loved growing up, but maybe the younger generation really doesn't connect with. So basically the article was 20 classic movies that don't hold up unless you're nostalgic for them, right? And we kind of had conversations about this before, Lee, and we've experienced this before, right? So wait, before you start naming them off.
No, he just told me a story about showing his daughter.
Oh, we did?
Yeah.
Oh, he did? Oh, which, okay, wait.
I've been making my daughter watch a bunch of
Okay, wait, see if any of these are on the list, okay? So there was 20 of them, but I just picked out, I don't know how many I picked out. I just took 8 of them, right? And so and we've experienced this because maybe it's like, back in the day, an older person recommended a movie to us and we watched it and we were like, I mean, it's all right, like it's just how it is,
Right.
So I took some of these movies and I'm going to go.
I want to call time out here and say, like, Lee Matlock pulling me into the garage and saying, you need to sit down here.
I fucking just told you about
Yeah,
this.
we were just talking about that before you came
I just told him about this.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I go, where the fuck is Lee? Did he just get intercepted? My brother intercepted?
Andy intercepted him just.
No, I literally walked up to your house, walked into the garage as I always do, and your dad was there. He's like, hey, Lee, sit down here. I gotta show you. I gotta show you something. I was like, okay. And I thought he was going to show me like some short or whatever. No, it was a fucking 2-hour and 20-minute video of World War II.
No, but you're skipping the best part of this is you would send me a message, or no, I'm sorry. I would send you a message that would ping you on your pager.
Right.
You would call me. You're like, hey, dude, I'm on my way.
On the way.
So back in the day of pagers, children, what would happen is then you'd have to sit there and like, okay, well, he said he's on his way, so I'm just going to sit here and wait
here. Yeah, there's no cell phone. There's no text. There's no right.
And I'm sitting there with my mom in the living room, and I'm like, where the hell's Lee? She's like,
it's been a while. It's been
where the hell is
an
he?
extra 2 hours and 20 minutes.
So I go out in the garage to see if Lee's pulling up in the garage because my dad always had the garage open, and I see Lee there, and Lee's like, hey dude, and I go, what the hell? How long have you been here? He's like, I don't know, and you're like, your dad's like, hey, your dad told me to sit down and like watch something. I go, dude, you need to stop intercepting my friends.
He showed me the most depressing
hell?
fucking movie in history. I think it was called The Iron Cross. It was like a World War II movie about like prisoners who got caught. The fucking thing ends essentially with a German guard like shooting a little girl in the back in front of her mom, and like the movie ends, and I'm like, what the? I was waiting for this to be like a cool fucking World War II. I was like, okay, I'm kind of into it, whatever.
Yeah.
And then like that, and he goes, "Isn't that fucked up?" I was like, what the fuck did you just do to me, Lee Matlock? What the fuck? Yeah.
God. All right.
Anyway, sorry, I intercepted that. But
let's get to some of these movies there.
Yes.
All right. So the first movie that we have up here, and stop looking at the notes over here.
Right,
We want your genuine, we want your genuine reaction here. Okay. So Star Wars, 1977. So what do you think they said was wrong with Star Wars, Lee? Like, as far as like, not really connecting, maybe,
I think they're gonna get pissed at the graphics. I think the story, all this generation is totally going to buy into the entire genre. I think they're still into Star Wars. I think they're going to be like, what was up with the fucking shitty CGI?
Yeah, I think you're right, because like they did go over that. That's kind of like what they did. So like basically they said that if you're not old enough to remember when this movie came out, when this movie actually, is there something going on over here?
I'm going to find that movie that your dad showed me.
Jesus Christ.
Look, I got to find it while you guys are talking about Star Wars, because I hated Star Wars. So you guys talk about Star Wars for a second. I'm going to find this movie that your dad showed me, and then I'm going to tell these people to watch it, and they're going to fucking realize
You already
what I
told
went
them.
through.
You already told them.
But I'm not sure it's called the Iron Cross. I think it is. So hang on. I think it's called the Iron Cross.
He's trying to find it underneath the.
Oh, that's totally Cross of Iron. That's totally it. Hold on. Look at the fucking cover of the movie that your dad showed me.
Jesus. What in the hell?
This is
I like how you remember this.
And it was like, how could I forget? I fucking showed up to your house to like, hang out and do whatever. And your dad's like, hey, come here, sit down, and I'm going to show you something. And on VHS, like, you can't skip ahead. I'd show the camera, but I'm sure you're going to put this up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, this fucking movie.
God.
It looks fucking great from the picture, right?
Yeah.
Except I didn't get the benefit of this. I had no idea what we were in for. He just said, you got to watch this. So, okay. All right. Fuck. Let's go. And then you came out, 2 hours and 19 minutes into a 2 hour and 20 minute movie. And I'm like, hey, man.
You're like, oh, thank God.
It really was. I mean, I was into it for most of it. I was like, let's see where this thing's going. And then it totally ended. He's like, isn't that fucked up? It's like, God damn it.
In this century of great wars, no other compares to the mammoth struggle between Nazi Germany and Soviet Russia. From this savage era comes a story so big that only the epic camera of Sam Peckinpah could do justice to its theme. Even bigger than the Wild Bunch. More exciting than Straw Dogs and The Getaway. Now, Sam Peckinpah brings you the most epic story of them all. Cross of Iron.
Oh God.
Anyway, so
Okay, so-
the Cross of Iron. Anyway, there
Yeah.
you go. So I'm sorry. Back to Star Wars.
No, so anyway, no, it's not important, but I'm just saying Star Wars. Yeah, like this movie came out in 1977. In 1977, it was amazing.
Yeah.
I mean, mind blowing. But now you have 10 million movies like Star Wars, and you have like all. They said that this guy writes.
In fact, you have 10 million Star Wars movies.
Yeah, he goes. You have the prequels, the sequels, the requels, and the sidequels, and it's like. If you show a kid this movie today, he's likely to say, this sucks. Like, it's slow. It's fucking...
I've seen this story before.
The dialogue is all tired. It's...
Right. I've seen the story before because they've made the movie 25,000 times.
The one thing that I think may stand up is the character of Han Solo. Because he's just a cool, arrogant dude. Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's about it. Okay.
Isn't that the current version of Deadpool, though? That kind of irreverent fucking, like...
Yeah. Except, Isn't Deadpool basically Ryan Reynolds in a suit? Like he's the same character in every movie.
Isn't that all actors? Most actors?
Most actors.
I mean, a few of them can really switch. I mean, like Joaquin Phoenix, you never know who the fuck that dude's going to be. Super weird, whatever.
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Like there are a few that really can meld into whatever. But most people, Robert De Niro, has he ever been a different character?
That's why he's so great.
It's a good character.
Yeah. No, that's a good point. Yeah.
Anyway.
So then they have The Wizard of Oz, 1939, and this one it doesn't really have anything to do with the movie. The movies, they've been showing it for 80 years? It's like came out in 1939. But this movie, it was like one of those crazy movies because it started out in black and white and then it came out in that Technicolor, and you're like, can you imagine seeing that? Like the first time, you're like, holy Jesus! Like,
and it's good. I mean, it's a good story, good acting, good whatever.
Right.
But also the technological thing from black and white to color.
It might bore like a child, like all the singing and whatever. But
they don't understand the significance of going from black and white to color because that when it happened, holy shit.
They did have other color movies, but I don't know if it was that crystal color.
And the fact that they use that as a vehicle to sort of show that technology happened.
The contrast, So they have this guy says younger audiences might be turned off by the treatment of Judy Garland. And I'm like, okay, you have to really study that though, like because you don't know by watching that. They're like, the 16-year-old star was reportedly given amphetamines to boost her energy during the days and sleeping pills to counteract them at night. And I'm like, okay, well...
Yeah, you got to kind of do some Wikipedia to figure that shit out before you watch the movie.
Okay. All the other ones kind of like have a thing, and I was like, all right, I guess I'll do that in there. But anyway.
I mean, didn't they put a little bit of whiskey on the pacifier for all the kids in that generation?
That's true.
Yeah. Fucking amazing.
And I don't know when Coke stopped having cocaine in it, but we're not far from it. So
man, what a time to be alive, Lee.
Just a better time.
I mean, it's not quite
mid Coke pre-AIDS.
Yeah.
I mean, look, that's got to be it, right? That was the peak, right? Mid Coke pre-AIDS.
It's got to be up there. Brian's like, what the hell?
Unprotected. Everything, you're just good. Nothing's gonna happen.
What's that? Mid 80s?
Yeah, right to the early 80s, like late 70s, early 80s.
Yeah.
Mid. I mean, we were obviously all too young to enjoy that, but like, there's a strong case could be made for mid Coke pre-AIDS.
Yeah,
that's pretty freewheeling time.
All right, here we go. Back to the Future. What do you think they're going to say about this one, Lee? What could they say about our beloved Back to the Future?
How could you build a time machine in a DeLorean?
Are you telling me that you built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
You built a time machine out of a DeLorean?
Like, do kids even know what a DeLorean is?
No. Yeah, they're probably like, the car doesn't already drive itself.
I feel weird because my daughter loves those movies.
Okay.
Your daughter's kind of an old soul, though.
She's into DeLoreans.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
dude, your daughter named your dog Rooster, and not because of any other, because of fucking Rooster Cogburn, the John Wayne movie.
Wow.
Right?
She's into John Wayne.
That's fucking crazy. You're
interesting.
Yeah.
And
that's very interesting.
Back to the Future.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, so they said that when Marty goes back and visits his mom, he discovers that she's a horny teenager. And then they also state that there's an uncomfortable. This one was kind of lame. There's an uncomfortable bit about Marty kind of, sort of inventing rock and roll. And I'm like, how's that uncomfortable? Like, well, it's kind of,
I mean, it's pretty accurate, right? Where he steals it from the black people and makes it his own. That's pretty accurate. Like, that was the only part that was a documentary.
Right.
He's like, what's that you guys are doing here? Let me get on stage and let people see it.
Right.
They're not going to see you.
Yeah. I like, you know what it kind of reminds me of Animal House when they go up and he's like, mind if we dance with your dates?
Right.
Do you mind if we dance with your dates?
Do you mind if we dance with your dates?
All right. Okay. So, all right. Does your daughter like Grease?
Yes.
Every girl likes Grease.
She does.
Every girl likes.
Is there a guy that likes Grease?
Do I have to say it out loud?
No, I don't know of any.
One.
Gay guys.
Oh, okay, fair, right.
Gay guys.
But okay, so
I mean, guys, I guess
is it the music? Is it like because like it just doesn't? I don't give a fuck about that movie. It isn't that it's bad or whatever. I just don't care about it.
It's bad.
It's not good. But I mean, the thing I think it's music and style.
Yeah,
I think it's like fashion, fashion shit. We don't give a fuck about that. I clearly don't give a fuck about fashion, but like I think women and gay men are more into fashion and more into music. Like not music like fucking musicals, metal, like musicals, like sort of the performance aspect of it. That's a generalization, but I think it probably holds up.
So they're like, it's a bit misogynistic, and there's elements that Grease doesn't hold up. Like, I don't really. I guess I kind of get this reference because I haven't seen that movie that much.
I've never made it all the way through the movie.
Yeah,
they're like, did Sandy really need to change her whole look for Danny? So like she was like a normal girl, like in that dress, and then she came out in like her like tight suit, like her black pants and everything.
Wait, this doesn't resonate with a generation that's putting fucking 6-inch fucking risers in their shoes to match their dating profile.
I'm just going over the list here.
I know it just sounds weird like that, or put shit on their face. So that, yeah, I feel like it would resonate with them. What? We're gonna make ourselves into something that we're not, so we can impress somebody else. I don't know. Feels like that would resonate with them. Anyway,
do the young guys like tattooed eyeballs?
Probably.
I guess they do. I
don't know. The new leather pants.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Ghostbusters, 1984. So they said that this film. I think that this film is like great because I agree with the guy at one of the first things he said. He goes, "This film is so good because it lets funny people be funny. Like you just let fucking funny people be funny." Right. And there is a lot of that's missing in today's movies. We're like, you kind of like,
oh, they're totally constrained now.
Like Jim Carrey movies. They're like, you talk to those directors. They're like, dude, we just let that motherfucker go. Like, I mean,
we got out of the fucking way.
Yeah. Yep. You have a script, but if you have a guy like that.
Well, and Bill Murray is famous for just not giving a fuck about the script. Everything he does on film is he just does it. Yeah. And the directors, if they're smart, got out of his fucking way and made millions of dollars.
Yeah. Yeah. So the things that they pointed out in this are awesome. They're like, we'd like to point out the romance between Bill Murray and Sigourney Weaver doesn't always feel entirely consensual.
He's persistent. It was a different time.
Right.
He's persistent.
And then they're like, Ernie Hudson's character.
Totally marginalized.
Yeah,
totally.
The black guy. The black guy.
Yeah.
Like, he's treated as an afterthought and gets a billing so low that he doesn't even appear on the poster. Which, by the way, part of that is kind of true, but part of that is not, because like
his character joined later.
Yes, he joins later, and it's like, all right, he wasn't one of the original guys, but yeah, he probably could have been on the poster.
With today's sort of society, I think they could have done a little better with that. Honestly, they could have done better with that.
Right.
But
but yeah,
it's fucking Ghostbusters.
By the way, have you seen that guy lately?
He looks the exact same.
It's fucking crazy.
It doesn't.
It's insane. And I think he had like cancer and he beat cancer.
And he must be mid-70s now.
I don't know what he is.
He looks the same.
It's
exact
crazy.
same. He sounds the same. It's
crazy. All right. So A Christmas Story, 1983. A Christmas Story. So what do you think the biggest problem with A Christmas Story might be?
The leg lamp.
The leg lamp. Okay. But you know what? She gives him shit about the leg lamp in the movie. So like, it's kind of like, I think that the leg lamp is fine. Cause like that's a thing that she has a problem with. So she points that out in the movie. So that's kind of like a Homer Simpson-esque kind of deal where like he's like, the dumb, guy that just likes,
Yeah. I think the bigger problem is that that's almost a meta thing going back another generation. So it's from the 80s looking back to the like 50s or 40s.
Yeah. The late 40s,
and I think so we're asking people from the 2020s to look back to the 80s.
Yeah.
That's looking back to the 40s. Too far.
Yeah.
To leap too far. Although I will say I did have a bit of secondary joy when we moved to Griffith, Indiana, because in the beginning of that movie, the dad is reading the newspaper and he chuckles and he goes, huh, some clodhopper in Griffith, Indiana swallowed a yo-yo.
Whoa.
Because
that's awesome. Yeah.
That whole thing is set.
Yeah.
It was actually filmed, I think, in Cleveland, but they actually have the museum for that movie in
That's awesome.
Highland, which is the next town over. And the whole thing was called Homan. That was the name of the town in that movie. Homan Boulevard or Avenue or whatever is right there. So it was set right where we live, but he actually goes, some clodhopper in Griffith, Indiana swallowed a yo-yo.
Anyway,
we watched Christmas Story. That was pretty cool.
They said the problem with Christmas Story is basically burnout. It's been played
too much,
10 million times, and
and that experience
possibly,
doesn't apply to anybody anymore.
I was going to say maybe the Chinese restaurant scene.
It's pretty bad. That's pretty bad. Yeah, you
forgot about that one.
Yeah,
but
I forgot about it too. That's pretty bad.
So that part. How about Stand By Me, 1986? So late 50s kids go on an adventure to seek out a rumor of a dead body, and they said this is what he wrote. It's impressively weird with a Barforama fantasy sequence and testicle-hungry leeches that are going after the kids. Whatever, like isn't that's kind of like the funny parts of the movie.
It's an adventure, but again, I think the adventure this is going back. It's a movie from the 80s or 90s. When was it?
86.
86.
I love that.
Wow,
I love that movie, by the way, because basically that's exactly how I grew up.
It is. Yeah. Well,
exactly.
But also that's what I was going to say is there's two things. It goes from the 80s looking back to 50s or 60s or wherever it was set. But also that lifestyle doesn't exist anymore. Like when you said Stand By Me, the first thing popped in my head is feral children. How could you let your children go do that?
Yeah.
They're walking on railroad tracks.
Right.
Where are the parents? What's going on? Why? How could that happen? Because I think people don't know that that's how it was up until very recently in American life.
Until iPads came along.
Until you were just set free. You had a bike and a fucking outdoor world, and your parents would be like, I don't know, be home for dinner.
Yeah.
And you can go do that shit. You go find a dead body.
You know what I
find? See a dead body? We can find a dead body.
Being 30 years ago.
I know.
Yeah, you know what I find interesting about this, Lee?
That is
Stand By Me. I don't know if this is just Jen, but I had conversations with her and she's like, doesn't connect with me. And by the way, maybe this is like the Grease thing and like the kids, like because these are all boys. It's basically just all boys.
It's exactly.
Right?
So Jewel and I had the same conversation about Goonies and Ghostbusters. She said, not my thing.
Yeah.
Footloose and Dirty Dancing, her thing. Same era, same whatever. We're out playing around looking for dead bodies and shooting ghosts. They're dancing with the greaser guy.
Yeah.
Like,
the bad boys. Yeah.
It's just so there is a gender thing, which by the way,
girls,
may be irrelevant.
All the girls are going for the bad boy rebel. Like
this may be another thing that's irrelevant now is gender specific sort of experience. Like coming of age stories were different. There was coming of age stories for girls, 16 Candles and whatever, and coming of age stories for guys, Stand By Me and whatever. Like maybe they can't do that anymore. Maybe we can't separate. Maybe they can't. They're not allowed to. Maybe they don't experience. I don't know.
Yeah, interesting. Well, since you brought it up. Goonies, 1985. Goonies. So we talk about this one a lot, but you had to be a kid to love this one. We always talk about that.
Had to be a boy.
You had to be
I think
a certain age.
Yeah.
Because if you were an adult, it doesn't connect to you at all.
9 to 15.
Yeah, they said so. Basically, this guy was like, if you were over the age of 13 or so. That's just such a small window. But think of how big that movie is for people of a certain age. Because we were between 9 and fucking 13.
I just realized something though. This might be a horribly traumatizing thing to talk about for Brian because you weren't allowed to watch any of these.
Oh, I watched this.
Oh, you were?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, I watched it when I was 28 years old.
Exactly.
No, I saw Goonies.
So not to delve too deeply into your upbringing, but how are you allowed to watch Goonies when it came out? Was it just okay because it was PG?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Pretty much.
All right.
Oh, okay. Well, it's a good thing they fought for that PG.
Yeah. I mean,
I don't know if
was it
that's
supposed
really,
to be like a?
I don't know.
That was before PG-13.
Yeah,
anyway,
I don't know.
Okay, good. Well, I'm glad you're included because I realized there for a second maybe we were leaving you out.
Nope. So
Okay,
far.
good.
So they were saying for modern parents, it could be a tough one to introduce to kids. Now, you said this is one of the movies you showed your daughter?
She has seen Goonies.
Okay, did she like it? Or no?
I think it was.
It's not an. See, there's a very 80s specific movie though too, right? Like so many 80s references in this movie. So that could be part of like remember like what's her name? Cyndi Lauper broke the year before and was on like wrestling and like all these like music videos were like so
Captain
huge.
Lou Albano.
Yeah, she was huge, and like that was a big part of the movie. I mean, everything.
All the references.
Yeah. But they were saying for modern parents, it could be a tough one to introduce to kids because there's examples include Data, the Asian kid who's good at math but comically bad at English, and then they have Chunk, the fat kid
who isn't even fat by today's standards by a long shot.
The fat kid who never stops talking about food. You have Cleaner Rosalita, and she's the butt of all the pranks because of her limited English. And then you have the Italian family, the Fratellis, who are the mobster stereotypes. And I'm like,
they did kind of.
That's why it's so good. Like it's like they're all cheesy stereotypes.
Yeah,
right?
the kids aren't allowed to even participate.
Do
in that
they?
anymore.
Do they not do that? Like,
oh no, you can't label anybody now.
No.
Well, actually, that's not true. They want to label people with very specific things that they think are okay, but that's a different story.
Okay.
But I think it's very. I think it's very 80s specific though. I think it's super stereotypical.
Okay.
Yeah.
I remember I read this this article. No, I'm sorry. This is a TikTok this guy was talking about. He was like, when's the last great classic comedy? When is it? When's the last the classic, like the most classic comedy? When was the last great one?
It's the last raunchy ones from like Will Ferrell. Yeah. I mean, like those are like, I mean, Anchorman-ish, that fell apart a little bit at the end, but like that era, that's the last sort of Talladega
Wedding
Nights,
Crashers, all those kind of like those.
right.
Yeah.
Because that was the last time they allowed them to actually make inappropriate jokes.
Right.
And inappropriate is funny. That's what fucking comedy is.
Yeah.
And since then,
you still have stand-up comedians and who they get in trouble, by the way, still,
Totally.
but they don't give a shit.
No.
Which is awesome.
Well, now they don't, but they went through a period where they had to. Like remember where all the radio guys were getting canceled, all the people were getting canceled for their shit on stage, and people were interrupting comedians and shit. Yeah. They're like, oh, you can't say that. But I think, I think the last great era was when they allowed comedians to be fucking edgy, because that's what comedy is.
Isn't that interesting?
I think it'll come back around. I think it'll actually backlash. I think there's going to be, like, I think they went through this with, I don't know, in the 60s when they were sort of censoring people, and they had great comedians break through and get arrested for dumb shit. And then Carlin popped out of that thing, and Carlin became a thing. And now we're back in the conservative era, or coming out of the most conservative era. It's going to get back to being raunchy comedies. Okay.
So that concludes my kind of like the ones that I picked from that. I have another kind of list here that I'd like to run by you guys. See if you guys agree. So basically, this is another article that I spotted, and I think it might have been from the same guy. And he came up with this list of the 35 movies that are so bad, they're actually pretty good. So let's see if you guys agree with some of I just picked 10. I picked 10. We could just run through them real quick here. So see if you agree. The first one they had on here was Howard the Duck from 1986.
Just bad.
I mean, I can see it though. I mean, good, so bad it's good.
You know what the best part about this movie was? If you go back and watch this movie, the fact that Leah Thompson is able to sell this, like, it's like Howard the Duck is like a regular human, and she's like talking to this duck.
Back before they knew how to do green screen shit. Like, she was a pioneer in this.
Well, it's like some dude in a suit, but it's like she's like talking to this guy, and it's like, I don't know, it's strange. So yeah, Howard the Duck, I
can see it. Like, I can see that's bad, but bad but innovative, honestly.
And is that a Spielberg or like I think
that's why it made it big. It was a big director. I don't remember who it was somebody big.
Or Lucas or one of those guys. It was like one of those guys, right?
Otherwise, it never would have seen the light of day. everybody would have gone, what the fuck are you smoking? And they're like, oh, it's Spielberg. And like, fuck, okay.
Is Leah Thompson trying to fuck that duck? What? Okay.
Somehow it works with Jessica Rabbit, though, right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
We all wanted to fuck Jessica Rabbit, which is a hot cartoon.
Okay, so number 2, I vehemently disagree with this one. Batman and Robin. Don't forget Robin, 1997. So this is not Batman Forever. This is not Batman Returns. This is not Batman. This is Batman and Robin. This movie, Lee, I've tried to watch this movie. I'm going to say 5 times. I can't even finish. It's so bad. This is the one with like Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr. Freeze, and it's so bad. And even George Clooney himself hates this movie. He hates it. And he's the Batman in this one.
Isn't that the one with like Chris something as Robin?
Yes.
Yeah. Kid from like Son of a Woman or whatever.
Yeah.
I don't know that I ever saw. I mean, if I saw that, I was never into superhero movies, but
I tried to follow them as long as I could, but then when they started pumping them out, like, every couple weeks, I was like, all right.
And they haven't stopped for 30 years.
Yeah, I can't.
I mean,
How about this one? How about this one, Brian? Supergirl. Supergirl.
I loved that movie.
Came out in 1984. See?
Wow.
He's a Superman guy from that era. He's a Superman guy.
She was the first woman that I looked at that was
Helen Slater. Super hot back in the day.
Hold on. I think Brian just grazed over this. This is the first girl that ever gave him a boner on a movie.
Wait, I'm sorry. Is that what he said?
First one that I ever looked at that was like that I can remember. Yeah.
Wow.
That's when he realized
I don't know what year that was. What year did that come?
Well, this is about the same year that you discovered Madonna, so this makes sense.
I mean,
this is 1984. This is 1984.
Yeah, I mean,
so
8 years old.
Yeah, I mean, Brian hit puberty at 8 or 9. I mean, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've seen it since, but
okay.
But I liked it when I was a kid. I have no idea if it's good. I mean,
he doesn't remember anything about it. Except,
sounds like it would be terrible. But I don't remember anything about the movie other than
that movie's notoriously like a bomb.
It's kind
of like Superman 4.
That's kind of how I felt watching Charles in Charge with Nicole Eggert.
Yeah.
Have you seen Nicole Eggert lately, by the way?
Do I want?
I think she. But
hold on, let's take the entire Baywatch cast. I think they're probably not.
Well, okay, but Nicole Eggert was just. She was I was telling my brother this the other day. She was my ultimate number one. When I saw her on Charles in Charge, I was like, holy crap.
No, me too. No, that girl. It was. I saw Nicole Eggert on her. Girl, I totally agree. That was the first time I was like, yeah, okay, yeah,
unreal. I mean, she was unreal.
Yes.
I mean, for our age specific years.
Yep. That was exactly it.
Jesus.
Yours was Supergirl. Mine's Nicole Eggert on Charles in Charge.
I think Supergirl was before Nicole Eggert on Charles.
I agree. And probably there was one, but that's one that sticks out. I was like, well, there it is. Okay. Yep. I get it. That's for me. Yep.
All right. Here's one that I don't necessarily, I don't agree with it because of the way he's saying that these are great because they're so bad. I love the star of this movie, but I wasn't a fan of this movie because I love the cartoon. But Masters of the Universe, 1987. I hated this. I was so excited for this movie, and I was like,
similar. I love the cartoon.
Oh, I love the cartoon.
I love He-Man. I don't think I ever saw that movie though.
Dolph Lundgren.
I
love Dolph Lundgren.
I never liked the movie,
but yeah.
Which, by the way, if steroids killed all the people the way they say they do,
he looks better than ever.
Yeah. And Stallone and Schwarzenegger. Maybe it's a money thing though, because most of the like mid-grade wrestlers, they're all dying.
Yeah. And
I think
maybe it's
CTE.
a money thing. Well, it could be CTE. I think it might be CTE.
CTE with wrestlers.
And they did not. I mean, they were all
and the coke and the you're right, and the alcoholism and the
I don't think
opioids.
It was steroids.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
No.
Yeah. How is still alive?
Ric Flair? Wait, didn't he just die? I thought Ric Flair.
Oh no, he still drinks every day and.
Wow. Dude, I still watch Macho Man Randy Savage shit all the time. Like I was telling him I was going to send a Macho Man Randy Savage like inspirational thing. Like how fucked up is our life now that we're sending Macho Man Randy Savage shit as motivational shit for the this generation. I'm actually like, hey, you should see this. And Macho Man's like, yeah, let me tell you, kids, I don't care where you come from. You can achieve. You just put it, whatever. Anyway.
Yeah. So, all right. This is an interesting one. They have on here Grease 2, which is interesting. Here's why this is interesting to me. I saw Grease 2 before I even saw Grease, because this is like one of those movies that bombed. So like, I think that it became cheap for
it
like
was at the VHS store.
No, like on TB, you know, when
right.
Like I was at a daycare at the time, and they're like, go downstairs. And I'm like, all right. So I'm like down there, and like, I'm just watching like, you know, TBS or whatever. And they're like, now we return to Grease 2. And I'm like, okay. That was the first one I saw. So I was like, oh, that wasn't the original. Like, like later I was like, they're like, that movie sucks. And I was like, I mean, I never thought it was great anyway, but I was like, oh wait, I was watching not Grease. I was watching Grease 2.
I didn't even know they had a Grease 2.
I was with
I think I knew
Michelle
it.
Pfeiffer was the star of that
Michelle
one.
Pfeiffer.
Anyway, so here's one that I definitely agree with, and I know that you probably do too. I don't know about you. Roadhouse. 1989. Roadhouse. That movie's fantastic. It's so cheesy, and come on.
Yeah.
What do you think?
I mean, it's unapologetic. I mean,
I like it.
It's unapologetically over the top. I mean, they have fucking big. They didn't just have like
Over the Top, another good one.
Over the Top is another good one. Yeah, Sylvester Stallone. But like, Roadhouse is unapologetically pure 80s.
Yeah.
The fucking villain is over the top. Like, he's driving around like the dumbest shit in the world. He's like steering through for no good reason, like just swerving on the road because he's like the big shit in town. He can just drive it. And then when it comes time to like fuck people's cars up, they literally have the Bigfoot monster truck.
Right.
Fucking shit up. Like, I don't know. Like, Roadhouse, it's not a good movie. It's just an entertaining movie.
Yeah.
And the fact that they remade it with Jake Gyllenhaal is a fucking bummer because it was never supposed to be a good movie.
Yeah. Yeah, it is weird. But I did see a movie that was like so over the top that was recently. God, what was the Beehive guy?
Oh, yeah, Statham.
Did you see that?
Yeah.
That movie's just as cheesy to me.
Totally
I was like, this is like, there's no possible way he's taking over like an entire.
Yeah, he walks into a whole building and is like, I'm going to kill everybody here. If you don't
and
leave.
everybody, I was like,
and everybody's like, what the fuck?
I'm looking over Danny and I was like, this is so.
And a bunch of dudes running with fucking body armor. And he's like, I'm going to run from all of you and kill all you and then fucking blow the place up. Yeah, it's total 80s shit. It's like, I mean, it's like Stallone with a fucking bomb on the end of a fucking
Rambo
arrow
3,
shooting a goddamn Apache out of
Right.
the air or whatever. Yeah.
I'm taking on the entire country of Afghanistan.
Exactly. Just me.
Yeah.
See, but there's room for that. Like, I don't mind that if that's the stated goal is we're going to be absurd and it's going to be fun.
Exactly.
That's like Bruckheimer used to do that all the time. Like The Rock.
Yeah.
The Rock is a terrible movie, but it's fun as shit. He drives a yellow Ferrari and fucking Sean Connery's making fucking awesome one-liners. And
I was formerly a guest here.
Well, I mean, it's kind of like how the Bond movies were, right?
Totally. Yeah, they're not supposed to be accurate
Right.
or realistic. They're supposed to be fun.
Yeah. Speaking of fun, did you ever see Anaconda?
Oh, fuck. I think I saw like 30 seconds of that when I was looking for something to jerk off to because Jennifer Lopez is super hot.
It's
now
the
with her
worst
no
special
bra.
effects. I remember so Danny Marsh and I used to go into like on Mondays, you could go to see a movie for like, I don't know, like the new movies, but like for half price if you went on a Monday. Because
by the way, Joel and I still do that. It's called Screen Unseen.
Okay, so
except you don't. Yeah, it's like we do that couple times a month. You go and you pay like $7, but they don't tell you what movie you're going to see.
Oh, well, this you could go to whatever movie,
same
right?
thing, right?
So we'd go in, and then we would go into a movie, and then we'd map it out, and then we'd see what movie ends or what time this movie ends,
and you
then
go to the next movie.
one. So we walked into Anaconda one time. So this is 1997, so it matches up. We walked in there, and I was like, "This is the worst shit I've ever seen in my entire life." But it was like so bad, over the top. Like the special effects were like, I mean, they're horrifically bad. I mean, have you guys seen this movie?
Yeah.
It's so bad.
Yeah,
the special effects.
it's bad.
He's like, what? You saw this and you're not even speaking of?
I don't think I've seen this, but also I think that it's worth mentioning. Like there was a period kind of late 90s to mid 2000s where the CGI just wasn't quite there.
Oh no,
they knew they were trying it.
Yeah.
They're like, we're going to plug this shit in. We're going to make giant snakes and fucking explosions and shit. But it wasn't like Pearl Harbor, the movie Pearl Harbor, terrible for a whole bunch of reasons, but like the CGI wasn't quite there. You're just not there.
This is when they re-released all the Star Wars movies, 1997. And George Lucas kept going back and trying to fix those movies. I think he fixed it in like 2004 and 2000.
Right.
He kept like trying to fix those. If you go back and watch those movies and watch like Jabba the Hutt when they put him in there, Lee, it is so bad.
Right,
it
they
is so
just
bad.
weren't there. The computers weren't quite there,
Dude.
but they're like, this is revolutionary for right now.
Yeah. Oh, it's so painful to see.
Yeah.
All right. So you said you brought up the trucks with over the top.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, with Roadhouse.
How about this movie?
Monster
How about
Truck.
this movie? Maximum Overdrive.
Fuck yeah, dude. Best
1986.
soundtrack of the 80s.
AC/DC.
All AC/DC. That movie is so terrible and it's so fucking awesome.
It is so cheesy.
What a
It's
great
awesome.
idea. A fucking comet comes near and it turns all the machines into killer robots, essentially. What a great idea. It's all, and they get stuck at a truck
Isn't it
stop.
funny? Isn't it interesting that the screenplays by Stephen King are some of the cheesiest movies that you've ever seen in your entire life, or they're some of the best classics ever made?
No, I mean, well, but also, I mean, they're all cheesy except Shawshank Redemption, which turned into the best movie in history. I think
what
they're
about
all,
Stand By Me?
Okay, that's pretty good. I mean, yeah, but most of them are cheesy.
Yeah.
But they're so over the top. And then somehow he got good actors and good whatever. Like somehow people took those seriously and they turned into good movies because Emilio Estevez is in it. Like nobody else is getting a decent star to play in their fucking horror movie about semi trucks coming to life.
Okay. Last but not least on this list that I pulled here. Last but not least. Remember this like it was yesterday.
I know I already know what movie this is.
What is it, Lee?
It's Armageddon.
No. No, because I don't like that movie.
Oh, these are movies you do. Okay, well, we're gonna double back and talk about Armageddon.
Okay, well, let's just do it right now. Let's just do it right now.
What a fucking shit pile of a movie. It had fucking Bruce Willis and Ben Affleck and a bunch of like Liv Tyler, and it's supposed to be a big fucking blockbuster. And the what, like a fucking asteroid's gonna land or gonna hit the fucking
and
world.
It has the what did Diane Warren write that song by Aerosmith?
Oh, it's so terrible. And Aerosmith, dude, like this thing should have been fucking epic on all the levels, except they fucking forgot something. That's a dumb idea to send a bunch of fucking turn oil rig workers into fucking NASA astronauts instead of fucking taking NASA astronauts and showing them how to work a fucking drill. That's your plan. And then they go up there and then they land on the thing and they bring guns. Because there's who on a fucking asteroid that you're going to fucking shoot. It's a fucking asteroid. Who's there to shoot?
When they jumped that and like, I looked at you and I go, oh,
dude,
God.
And then they land and they crash and it's all on fire and shit. And I'm like, there's a fucking atmosphere to burn there? What the and there's gravity and there's fucking shit. And then they're like, we don't know where that other fucking thing went. This thing is a search area the size of Texas. And then they find him in like 5 minutes. It's like, I'm all for suspending disbelief. I love Roadhouse. But that movie was done so poorly. It was such a terrible idea.
But it's supposed to be like Armageddon was like they
took it too seriously.
Blockbuster that they
took it too seriously. That's the thing is like if they had said this is an absurd idea, maybe we're on board. We like Ghostbusters. They tried to make it serious. Ben Affleck and Liv Tyler and the fucking love interest and with the hero Bruce Willis is gonna go fuck him. And by the end of that, we're like, this is fucking stupid. I can't stay for the last 5 minutes of this. We walked out with probably 10 minutes left. I don't know how much I've still never seen the end. I don't know.
I've never seen the end of it either.
Maybe it's a good movie. I don't.
We do know what happens. They saved the day.
Exactly. You know exactly what happens.
That's why we left. I go, we need to leave.
I can't. I just couldn't watch anymore. I was like, I've had it. Now, granted, I'm the asshole that didn't like watching the G.I. Joe movie or G.I. Joe cartoon because I was like, those guys are not going to have enough time to get out of that tank if someone's shooting a laser at them. I know that I have a problem with reality. I know I have a problem suspending disbelief, but that was too much. Okay, I was an 8-year-old kid watching G.I. Joe. I'm like, well, they wouldn't have had enough time to get out of the way of that fucking laser.
Right.
That's
they shot lasers. Yeah. Yeah. Did anybody die in those?
No, they always got out.
Yeah.
But 18 made it fucking believable. They'd flip over and then they'd just cut to an audio clip going, hey, Frank, you okay? He's like, yeah, I'm okay. And then they move on to the next scene.
You know, I would sometimes get the movies mixed up. What was the movie where they also went to space? Or no, did they go? No, they didn't go to space. It was Con Air, where like they're training or they're selecting guys. I always like there's like these scenes, and I'm like, wait a minute, which one was this? Was this the Rock, or is this Con Air, or is this Armageddon? Like there's like certain scenes that are kind of like the same. Are they the same?
They're
director?
all Bruckheimer. Yeah, they're all Bruckheimer.
Fucking God.
I think Bruckheimer did Armageddon.
It's like slow motion, like they're like
it's all
trying to be like overly
cheesesteak.
cool and like.
And that's the thing is, if
so
Armageddon had leaned over the top the way The Rock did, The Rock never took itself seriously. It's Nick Cage and fucking Sean Connery and fucking a bunch of unrealistic shit.
Yeah.
And we all knew it and it was fun.
Right.
Armageddon was like, no, we're going to have this awesome soundtrack by Aerosmith, Liv Tyler and Ben Affleck. And I don't know, it fucking sucked.
Terrible.
Anyway, I'm sorry I hijacked that with the Armageddon.
No.
What movie were you going to bring up?
The movie that I was going to bring up was from 1995. And this movie was Showgirls.
No, that's such a great movie. It is porn. It is porn before we were allowed to watch porn because the internet didn't exist. Kids, the internet didn't always exist.
Were you able to make it through the whole movie though?
Oh
well, no. In like three, I watched it.
Have you ever watched the entire movie?
I watched it in 3-minute increments.
I watched it.
All it was.
I watched it in the theater with Ethan McDonald.
Wow!
And we were excited to see this movie.
Wait, excited like we were talking about? Like, never mind.
Well, listen. This is. I mean, what's her name was? I think she was still on Saved by the. Well,
it was right after Saved. And look, some of us,
the college year started up or something, right?
Right. So Jesse Spano.
Jesse Spano was the star of this movie.
I would have preferred it to be Tiffany Thiessen, but
everybody would, yes.
Yeah.
But we had to,
settle for Jesse Spano. But also, that's not a bad settle. That's pretty good.
No, she was pretty hot.
And by the way,
I'll tell you this though. I remember saying to Ethan after we were walking to the car, I was like, she was naked so much that by the end of the movie, you're just like, I don't even care. Right. I don't even care about her naked.
And the acting was so bad.
Oh my God. It was so bad. It was good.
So that's the thing is like, it is
horrible.
so bad.
It was painfully bad.
That movie just reeks of cocaine.
Oh,
like it just, they were fucking high the entire time.
Oh man.
I don't know if any kids, watch this. Like, I don't know if they listen to this because we're all old, but
right.
Kids, back in the day, if you saw some girl that you had a crush on TV, there was zero chance you were going to see her naked.
Oh yeah.
Zero.
Unless they got like heavily into drugs later, like
and
Dana Plato.
Dana Plato. That's the only one you can think of, right? That's it.
And we didn't really want to see Dana Plato.
No, but that's the thing is like now, if you have a crush on a girl, naked pictures are out there right now. You can find them.
That's how they get famous now, right?
Yeah. Well, but they get famous that way, but also even if they didn't try, their fucking iPhone got hacked.
Oh, right,
so
right.
now they're sending like it used to be you couldn't see the chicks you had a crush on TV naked ever. You don't have an appreciation for the fact that you couldn't find that. You just had to have a crush on this girl on TV and then just imagine the rest.
100%.
And that's what you were stuck with. And then Jesse Spano did an NC-17 movie, which didn't exist before that, as far as I know.
Legit, they had to check our IDs, and they were studying our IDs.
Yeah. Like to see this movie because she was naked so fucking much.
I mean, the goddamn movie theater was on lockdown.
Yeah.
And it was only playing at like that one theater, like up in Federal Way, like, up on the hill. Like, what was that little, you take a right and you go up.
Right across from SeaTac. Yep. I didn't watch it in the theater.
Right behind the big porn bookstore.
I think I didn't watch it until like DVD era.
Yeah.
And then I watched it, like I said, in 3-minute increments.
Yeah, I think it was just Ethan.
So I'm not sure how that one ends either. I know it had several happy endings.
Yeah.
I don't know how it concluded the movie.
All right. Well, speaking of concluded, I think we've come to the end, and that's how it's going to end. We're going to end with Showgirls. We're going to end with Showgirls in the.
I feel like we need to watch that.
I think we do.
Jewel has even said, she goes, I need to see Showgirls. I was like,
she hasn't seen Showgirls?
No, and she's heard me talk about it because it's so fucking bad.
It is so bad.
Because she doesn't. She's like
culture.
She's like, I kind of got to see that.
Yeah.
Because it's Paul Thomas Anderson, like he's a big director. Like the whole thing makes no sense.
Yeah.
And when you watch it, it makes even less sense.
I think there's one of the main actors, like he's in interviews talking about that, and it's pretty fantastic. Like he's talking about the behind the scenes and shit. And I think you're right. You're not far from.
No, I think they were just soaked in cocaine.
Yeah.
The entire time. They're like, oh, you guys, are you wearing that fucking top again? Take that top off. Let's roll. You rolling? Let's roll.
This chick is so hungry to be a real actress that she will fucking do anything I say.
Right.
And I'm all for it. I'm all for it. So let's hey, we need some more Coke over here.
Yeah.
More Coke.
Yeah. Yep.
So, all right, guys. Well,
anyway.
that's where we're gonna end it.
That's an awkward ending. It's not as happy as it was every other time I watched or talked about Showgirls, but whatever.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you guys were able to come back. It's good seeing you, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Lee?
Yeah, it's been 2 years.
Yeah. It's been, yeah. Well, since you've... Whoa, wait. No, I know what you're saying.
Yeah, I don't remember being here last year at all.
Well, you were a little blacked
Why
out.
don't you just shut the fuck up?
Whoa. All right. Well, okay. We're going to end it right there.
Moving on.
Thank you guys for coming on. For Brian Crooks and Lee Olson, I'm Josh. And as always, thank you for being a friend.